here. We count down to kickoff in what should be an epic one here, as it'll be the AFC champion Baltimore Ravens taking on the NFC champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. The long fortnight of Super Bowl week is over, and away we go in Super Bowl 58. Well, from deep in the end zone, he's going to bring this out. And in hindsight, probably should have taken a knee as he only gets this out to the 16-yard line. Philly's offense getting ready, and Jalen Hurts ready to lead them. The second-round pick who started his career at Alabama, then finished with an electric senior season at Oklahoma. They start on the ground here at Sanders. And he'll take this one up to about the 23. The game's first play produces 6 yards, brings up second down.
Well, I think after that run, the defense getting back in the huddle and looking at each other and maybe starting to question their confidence a bit. They gave up a significant run, 6 yards, and now you're saying to yourself, how do we stop them, and do I have enough confidence to make a play?
Second down, back to Sanders. And right away, he lost the football. And he'll get about 3 up past the 25. And they have the football and will take over at the 24-yard line.
Let's face it, everybody at the start of a game has a mental image of how they expect it to go, and I think that was going exactly as they scripted it offensively. Moving the ball well, seemingly in control, and that fumble, that's got to be a...
And now before the ball changes hands, they're going to take a look at this just to make sure that they have it right. So that one overturned. They say the knee was down, and that will not be ruled a fumble. They'll try and run for it with Sanders. And he's got some space here. And he'll be taken down, but not before they reach the 50. Good yardage as he rumbles for 24 and a first. You were telling me this yesterday. This is exactly what they want to do on the opening drive, establish the ground game.
Yeah, remember our conversation? We were talking about what one of the GMs in the league has told me repeatedly. It's a big man's game, and it's not necessarily size. He's talking about playing some big boy football. Line up, get leverage, knock people back, and establish the run early.
So back-to-back big runs, picking apart this defense on the opening drive.
I thought this was a passing league. I thought this was the era we were in where the ball was always in the air, right?
They didn't get the memo.
And they didn't get the memo, and I know this to be true. Offensive linemen still, to this day, they want to run the football.
A beautiful spin and room to run. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Miles Sanders with a first touchdown of this Super Bowl, and a long one at that. And the Eagles are on the board first here in this Super Bowl. On for the extra point, Jake Elliott. Oh, and now they're going to fake it. And his throw's going to be incomplete. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you don't like that call on the opening drive of the game.
It's a very strong limb that you're out on right now. Okay, look, the game between college and the NFL continues to creep closer, but that is truly a college play, not an NFL.
Now a hit and a loose football. And it's picked up by the Eagles. And he is going to bring this back inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. So problems there on the return, very costly, not what you need when you've just surrendered the lead.
Not at all, because this now has a chance to really snowball on them quickly. Their offense was on the sidelines talking about getting on the field and getting that score back.
And that'll hurt the average a bit, as this time they're able to get him behind the line. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12. A give running left. It's Sanders. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. 5 yards on the carry there, and it leaves him with third and about 6 yards to go. They'll run. It's Sanders. Just a gain of 2 there, and it's going to bring up a 4th down.
Well, this was just simply excellent defense. On this 3rd down, they had to be alert for the possibility of a pass, but that didn't stop them at all from understanding what was going on when they decided to run the football, and they just swarmed and stuffed them for almost no gain.
They're going on 4th down with Hurts. Throw there as this is knocked away, down to the ground and incomplete. The Eagles unable to convert there on 4th. And the Ravens are going to get the football back. Try to get one more in here before the quarter breaks. Throwing now, Jackson on 1st down. And the coverage terrific there as that's knocked down and incomplete.
Oh, I like the calmness of how he played the ball here. No panic in his eyes as that throw arrived. Tracked it from the moment it left the quarterback's hand, and that's just where he needed to be to knock it away.
And just 1 tick to go, so this will obviously be the final play of this 1st quarter. On 2nd and 10, Jackson flushed out right. And he will slide to a stop. He does have the 1st down. That brings us to the end of 1 in Super Bowl 58. Much more to come from Las Vegas after this. 6-0 is our score. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Meanwhile, Jackson's throw into the hands of Andrews. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. 11 more yards that go around, a 1st down as well. Off the play fake, here's Jackson. Rolling to his, and he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Robert Quinn in there to bury him for a loss of 11.
Well, many times when you talk about mobile quarterbacks, you get the sense that they feel like they can get out of any bad situation. They keep moving around and trying to emulate guys like the Scrambler or the Dodger. Instead, they keep losing yardage and digging themselves a hole that they can't get out of.
Jackson hit, and he lost the football. And the Eagles have recovered. So that play, I mean, it was pretty well blown up from the start, and it results in a turnover.
Yeah, when you're running the option like that as a quarterback, you have so many different keys and reads to make, and sometimes as you're making them, you're not protecting the ball the way you should, and it gets popped free.
Hurts a handoff to Sanders. And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2, and it brings up 2nd down.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
2nd down, back to Sanders. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
Well, it's almost football 101 that you preach to your safeties. Don't let anyone get behind you. You're the last line of defense. But he didn't let the play come to him. He went to the play. How about that read and recognition and finishing off that one behind the line of scrimmage?
On 3rd down, they turn to Sanders. And he's going to get this to about the 20, but that is well short of what he needed. Call it a gain of 3, and it'll bring up 4th down. So Hurts is off, and on comes Jake Elliott for the Eagle field goal. From the left hash, this from 37. And they're going to fake it. He wants to throw it here. Now a throw caught by one of their linemen. first and keep possession. Some collective exhales over there on the sideline. A big pickup through the air on 4th down to bring up 1st and goal. Creeping up on a minute to play in this first half. They'll run with Sanders. And he's in. Touchdown, Eagles. Miles Sanders, his 2nd touchdown of this Super Bowl. And the Eagles continue to look good here in the first half of this Super Bowl. On for the extra point, Jake Elliott. Oh, and now they're going to fake it. And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. Boy, I guess they're going to keep trying to put the pedal to the metal here. They're going to try an onside kick. And this one recovered by the hands team for the Ravens. A second quarter onside kick there that failed. Is that something that maybe they had dialed up before this game started?
It feels like it, doesn't it? That they thought they had the right situation, you know, and the right approach in going after it. Also may signal that they feel like they have the superior team, that they can try these sorts of things and it won't come back and hurt them later.
Jackson's throw complete. Now the ball comes loose, and it's picked up by the Eagles. And he's able to take this one back to the 36-yard line. These defenses have become so opportunistic, and no matter what you're playing, in this case wide. And now, as with every potential turnover, they're going to take a second look at this just to make sure. Now the question, was the knee in fact down before this? So that challenge a successful one. Now Jackson on 1st down. Over the middle, complete. It's Edwards. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. A well-executed 22-yard gain. Now the Ravens going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 17 seconds to go in this first half of action. First and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. They'll run here with Edwards. And hit behind the line. He lost the football. It's loose. And it's picked up by the Eagles. And he's going to return it to the 21-yard line.
Whenever I see a team turn it over on back-to-back drives, fumbles on their last two, I know one person's blood pressure who is starting to rise, and that's the head coach.
Absolutely. And when's it going to go down? When they stop fumbling?
When they stop fumbling and after he's assessed the game film, and only if they manage to...
A fight for it, and this is caught. What a catch. And with just 4 seconds left in this first half, a timeout called. So with 4 seconds to go in the half, here's the field goal unit onto the field. Spotted at the left hash, this from 40. And it's a fake. He's going to throw it. The trick play works. He's got the first. The fake field goal catches everyone by surprise. And the Eagles are feeling good as they extend their lead in this Super Bowl.
Well, my education continues in this game, I've got to tell you, because there's not an analyst in the world that would have said pass up the field goal here. Go.
Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. Looking in zone, but it's incomplete. So we've reached halftime here in the Super Bowl. As we send you to... So the halftime show of the Super Bowl abbreviated. Ready to go for the second half. These two teams sat through a longer than usual 30-minute wait, but we're back in action here in this Super Bowl. He will return this from deep in the end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. The Raven offense set to start this third quarter. And right now, their chances of hoisting that Lombardi trophy, not looking too great, but perhaps that long halftime, maybe it did them a world of good.
But if there's ever a chance to regroup, it's in this game, right? Because you do have that long halftime, a chance to really assess things and maybe make...
And he loses the football a second time. And it's picked up by the Eagles. And his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line. And now 3 drives, 3 fumbles.
What's amazing about it is when we go around and watch practices, how many times do we see them put that sleeve over a football now to make it more slippery and hard to handle? It's almost like they're playing with that sleeve on the ball right now. Was that 3 drives?
Yep.
3 fumbles?
3 fumbles.
It's time to change our luck some way, somehow. Focus, concentration. You'll hear those words on the bench in a big way right now.
Oh, he was hit as he threw it there, and that one winds up incomplete.
But defensively, you're over there trying to catch your breath and try not to show the offense that you're a little bit fatigued. You're right back out there after the turnover. Now they've got to work towards getting another couple of stops and forcing them into at least a long field goal situation.
And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
Well, that's a good piece of quarterbacking right there because he certainly felt the pressure coming. The alternative, getting sacked for the first time. He didn't like that option at all. Did a nice job saving yardage by throwing that one away.
The chance of wasting this great starting field position, a real threat. This is 3rd and long. From the gun, it's Hurts, eluding the pressure right. And he'll be taken down at about the 22-yard line.
No surprise to see his sideline fired up by that big play. Heck, we're fired up, and we're supposed to be neutral. That's a quarterback putting his body on the line to fight and just barely get the first down. When he does something like that, it gets everyone ready to lay it all out there and try and match his intensity.
On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. Oh, fighting off the defender. And even 100 yards rushing for him now as he goes over the century mark here in this Super Bowl.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
The last run got 6, now 2nd and 4. Hurts going to give it to Sanders on the option. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Miles Sanders with his 3rd touchdown of this Super Bowl. And the Eagles are starting to open things up here in this Super Bowl. So the watch is officially on now. That ties him with Priest Holmes and Sean Alexander for 2nd place all-time on the single-season list of rushing touchdowns.
And, partner, he now just sits 1 behind LaDainian Tomlinson's record of 28. We know LT's watching. We know he'd hate to lose his record, but we also understand he has great admiration for what this man's done, and he would be a worthy successor to the crown. LaDainian Tomlinson, one of the great players, one of the great people of the NFL.
And this one travels out of bounds, so unsuccessful there on the onside kick try. So now the possession will begin at the 35 after the errant kickoff.
Well, that's certainly one way to avoid a dangerous kick returner, I suppose, but you are giving up extra yardage, that's for sure, because if you put it out of the end zone, they start at the 25, so at a minimum, you're giving up 10 yards to the offense.
And they're going to get this to about the 44-yard line.
Oh, it's time to give a little credit there to the defense. They played that very well because it was a drag route, and he ran a little shallower than normal as he worked straight across the field. He was hoping he'd get lost behind the defensive line, but once he made the catch, nowhere to turn upfield and gain any yardage.
Throwing again on 2nd down. Jackson. Oh, that one sailed a bit, but the catch is still made. His 2nd catch of the Super Bowl, and it's good enough for a 1st down.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then, of course, they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play, and that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
And he'll power ahead, but only for about 3 yards. Second down coming up.
Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks and allow other people to make tackles. But when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big day.
On 2nd and 7, Jackson. That's for Bateman, and it's intercepted. And the Eagles are going to have the football here at their own 35-yard line. Well, to be blunt, not a whole lot has gone right for this defense in this ball game, but that's something right there. Still in the third quarter, it would take something around miracle territory for a comeback, but maybe that's a start, Charles.
It certainly is, and they're definitely showing that there's some fight still.
And a nice stiff arm. It opens room to run. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. All told, it's an even 30 and a first down.
That outside handoff to the left, that play has to warm the heart of an offensive line coach because they controlled the left side where they were supposed to. But they didn't allow anything to leak from the backside on the right side of the offensive line either. Well played.
Yeah, and it created a big run. Off the play fake, here's Hurts, rolling to his left. And he's going to lose yardage here, as they will switch ends as time is run out on this third quarter of play. We are through 3 quarters of play here from Allegiant Stadium in Super Bowl 58. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Now this one from about 2 counties over after the sack. They come up on a 2nd and very long. Now Sanders. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And now off to the races down the right side. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Miles Sanders with a record. Fourth Super Bowl touchdown tonight. And the Eagles are starting to pour it on the game's biggest stage. They are running away with this Super Bowl. Elliott now to add the extra point. Oh, and now they're going to fake it. And it's caught inside the 5. And he will not make it to the goal line as his try for 2 is going to come up empty. But that's little consolation to this defense as they have been porous all game long. Ooh, a little cruel here. They're going to go for the onside kick up big. And this one recovered by the hands team for the Ravens. Well, fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
Edwards now on first. And oh, my goodness, he loses it again. And it's picked up by the Eagles. And they'll set up shop right near midfield at the 49-yard line.
As they say, this game hasn't exactly been one for the books. I mean, we're into the fourth quarter here, and now this happens, another turnover. Not one that they're going to hold up and say, yeah, this has been a banner day.
Absolutely. Still sitting on 0. Here comes Sanders on the toss right. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. My goodness, 229 yards on the ground for him now as he has gotten better, really, as the night's gone on. The last run got 9. That leaves him with 2nd and a yard. Now they toss out wide to Sanders. And he'll go down here at the 35-yard line. 4 yards the pickup, first down. Sanders toss left side. And some room to roam now. Oh, good hurdle. And they will eventually get him down, but he's inside the 5 all the way to the 3. He's able to rip off 32 on that one. It's a first down. Sanders. And now on the pitch, the ball's loose. And it's picked up by the Ravens. And a great return as he's up close to the 40-yard line.
Well, maybe it hasn't exactly been a Rembrandt, but they've been mistake-free to this point and finally cough it up. I don't think it's going to cost them the game. They should be fine. But, boy, they're going to hate that going back and watching tape and being able to say we were that close to achieving our goal of 0 turnovers during the game.
A little blemish, but as you say, still comfortably in command. After the fumble recovery, it's Jackson. High throw, but the catch is made. And they'll get him down on the other side of midfield. And with this game well in hand, perhaps we are seeing the coverage lighten up a little bit as they got burned there a bit for a first down.
Well, we certainly know the coach isn't happy along the sideline because he certainly wants them to finish this one out the way they started it. He doesn't want to give up any soft completions, no late points. He wants this lead to stay right where it is.
And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. That was a broken play, but it ends up being a good play. The scramble goes for 20.
Fast, slow, it doesn't matter. If you give a quarterback enough room to escape, he can hit you for a big gain. You've got to give him a little more focus moving forward.
That is caught, Rashad Bateman. And he is out of bounds, but first he gets it inside the 10 to the 7. A good pickup there at 22.
Well, this game was decided a while ago, and that completion there, it's going to artificially inflate his passing numbers. So right now, the only one really applauding probably his agent as he thinks about angling for a new contract.
2 big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. And he's going to go down. Sacked back at the 13-yard line. Fletcher Cox busting through to get him for a loss of 6.
Well, there's still time to rectify this situation because the silver lining, they took a sack on 1st and goal. But that close to the goal line, that still definitely hurts.
So first down went in the wrong direction. They're at the 13-yard line. Here's 2nd and goal. And he's got it. A nice job to get 11 out of that pass play, but now they face a 3rd and goal.
They should put the coverage guys in a stress on that one. They thought they were going deep. Ends up curling inside for a nice chunk of yardage.
They'll look to run with Edwards. And he'll get him a bit closer as he's down to the 2-yard line. And the Ravens going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the game. Here we go. It's Jackson on 4th down. And this is going to be intercepted. Through an opening, and there he goes. The 30. 10. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Eagles defense gets a pick-6 TD. Elliott on for the extra point. Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. It's caught inside the 10. And he gets in. But no one was expecting a fake there, but they add 2 more onto their lead. And this one recovered by the hands team for the Ravens. Baltimore with good starting field position as they come up 1st and 10 right at the 50-yard line. Back to the air, Jackson following the pick-6. And now a fumble. The ball's out. And it's picked up by the Eagles. No, bottled up. Fumble. It's out. It's loose.
Well, partner, I think it's safe to say they can mark this down as extremely frustrating. Here we are in the 4th quarter, and that last play, that turnover, I think it epitomizes what happened to them all day on offense.
So symbolic, and that's why they're still being shut out. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. They have that feeling that has to be the best. You just go out in complete control of this game here for hopefully one final possession.
And it's a culmination of preparation that began with something along the lines from the head coach of, we're going to win this weekend, and here's how we're going to get it done. And covered all the details that went into it. They practiced them. They went over them. They tweaked the game plan as the week went on. And to find it all coming together and see it finish this way,
makes them happy.
Oh, that's satisfying for them.
Yeah, they were very, very good. Now the last stages of this one. He's going deep for Brown. And it's incomplete. Still throwing to the very end. But now this game is over. And the Lombardi Trophy will rest in the city of brotherly love. The Philadelphia Eagles are the Super Bowl champs. And when this moment comes, I think you look back at all the blood.
It's that hate, boy. Yeah, my day ones here to dance at the beginning. So you know it's only right, that's how we end it. Came all the way from losing to winning. Yeah, I did it. But it ain't just me, it's the whole team. Share it with the whole team. Congratulate the whole team. Cause when you riding like we riding with each other, ain't no I in this. It's the whole team. Share it with the whole team. Congratulate.